Hey, it's Chef Evelyn, and I am back with another video. And I wanted to continue, talking about hitting your goals as we're still in the first month of the year. So I really wanted to do this video for those of you who are like, despite your best efforts, you haven't really hit your goals. And I want to share with you some things that could potentially be getting in the way of you hitting your goals. So if you've watched any of my previous videos up until this point, you know that the Chef's Table group experience is now open for enrollment and applications are open. I think I told you guys in December that we were going to get started right at the top of the year. And so I definitely want to make sure that you know about that and that you don't miss that if that is something that has been on your mind, has been like, you've been looking at it for a while. This is your opportunity. So previously, the only way to work with me has been to work with me one-on-one. But this year, I am taking an intimate group of women through the Chef's Table curriculum on how to build a high-end culinary brand, how to attract high-end clients, marketing, pricing, multiple streams of income, time freedom, location freedom, all of that, right? So we're going to be doing that and wanted to let you know the applications are open. So if you go to chefevelyn.com/program, all the details on how to apply are there. And for those of you who apply and you have questions about the Chef's Table experience, I am going to be doing an open house, showing you a little bit behind the scenes about the Chef's Table program, walking you through, details of the curriculum and all of that. But you have to apply to get that invitation. So go to chefevelyn.com/program, and I look forward to reading your applications. Now, let's get into this. So one of the things that, I was having a conversation with, actually, I think it was my mother the other day. And I was saying, this time of year, people talk a lot about goal setting, right? They're going to talk to you a lot about vision boards, and your plans for the year. What I like to talk about is goal getting. Right? Because you can set goals all day long. You can set goals left and right. And if you don't have a way to overcome the obstacles that keep you from reaching those goals, or you don't have a strategy or a plan of action to hit those goals, and those goals don't serve you or your business at all. So I want to cover several things today that I think could potentially be getting in the way of you hitting your goals. And the reason why I know this is because I've experienced some of these things. My clients have experienced some of these things. When people apply to the Chef's Table, they tell me that these are the things that are getting in the way of them hitting their goals, right? And maybe this video will kind of shake your shoulders a little bit and help you move past that, or get the support that you need to move past these obstacles. So I'm coming out the gate with a little bit of alliteration. If you've ever taken a class with me or worked with me, or if you ever been on any of my teachers, I love a little bit of alliteration. Okay, so the first three things out the gate. Number one, a lack of consistency, right? And I want to say this. I want to come out right out the gate and say this. A lot of times we beat ourselves up about a lack of consistency, but in reality, a lack of consistency, it's hard to be consistent if you don't know what to commit to, right? Or let me say this. It's hard to be consistent if you're not committed. And it's hard to commit to something when you don't know what you need to commit to, right? So a lot of times we think, man, I'm just inconsistent. But if you don't know what to commit to so that you then can be consistent in it, that is what is breeding your inconsistency. And so a lot of times in our businesses, right, our marketing is inconsistent, our income is inconsistent, our client flow is inconsistent, our sales are inconsistent because we're inconsistent, but it's because we haven't committed to a plan, right? We haven't committed to a strategic plan of action, and then we can execute that consistently. So what's happening is you're doing things haphazardly, and you don't know if they're working, or you don't stick with it long enough to see if it's going to work. And so, you're like, I don't know if that's working, so let me move on to something else. And you do that a little bit, and it's very inconsistent, right? And it's because you don't have the confidence to know that this is a well thought out strategic plan to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish, and I can commit to that. And now once I'm committed, I can be consistent. So there's a lack of consistency. There's also a lack of clarity, right? So if you don't know like which idea to go with, you don't know, which is going to be the best revenue stream for me. You don't know which is going to be the best way for me to make money. You don't know which is going to be the fastest way for me to get clients. You don't know which is the best social media platform for me to be on. You don't know which is like lack of clarity, right, on what you do well, that you know how to do what it is that you're trying to do. That lack of clarity can also inhibit you from hitting your goals, right? And clarity, like lack of clarity is like confusion. That's what it is, right? And so when you're confused, again, it's hard to commit to confusion. Oh, I'm going to say that again. It is hard to commit and be consistent in confusion, right? And so some of you probably were like me. You have all these ideas, right? And all these things that you want to do, and you've seen all these different chefs and different people doing different things, and you're like, I can do that, and I can do this, and I can do that, and I can do this. And at the end of the day, right, like you're not clear on what it is you want to do, right? And so you may not do anything, right? Or you start and you stop, and you start and you stop, and you start and you stop, right? Whether that's a marketing idea, whether that's a service idea, a product idea, okay? And then there's a lack of confidence, and this can run the gamut. This is lack of confidence in your pricing, lacking confidence that you'll actually be successful, lack of confidence that you'll actually get clients, lack of confidence that people will actually pay that much, lack of confidence that you're actually worth that much, right? Okay. There's a lack of confidence there, right? Where it's like you're confident in your cooking ability. This I know, right? But maybe, you never worked in a restaurant. And so you feel like, well, I'm not as chefy as the rest of the chefs, right? Like I definitely experienced that. Like, oh, since I didn't work in the restaurant, does that make me less of a chef? Or maybe it's you didn't go to culinary school, right? And so you feel like, well, oh, those chefs are successful because they went to culinary school, right? Or maybe you're not confident because, we like, my food tastes good, but my plating isn't the best. Can I be in business? And whatever the case may be, right? And I'm here to tell you that confidence is killing your goals, right? That lack of confidence is killing your goals. One of the things that I walk my clients through is an exercise on how to be really, really confident, right? How to look over their life and their career and really pull out the things that really undergird their confidence that they are that woman, right? They are the person that can charge those prices, that can get that kind of clients, that they're worthy of the kind of life and business that they want, right? And so that all stems in confidence. And so if your confidence is lacking in your ability to market, you're like, listen, I know when I get a client, I do a great job, but I'm not confident that I know how to get them consistently. I'm not confident that this business will make me the kind of money that I wanted to make. I'm not confident that I'll ever get off this hamster wheel of working all the time. Like I'm making money, but I'm exhausted, and I'm not confident that if I back up a little bit and step more into a CEO role than just a hands-on role, I'm not confident that the quality is going to be there. I'm not confident that it's the same, right? Like the lack of confidence can run the gamut, okay? Also, here we go. Maybe you're stuck in the comparison trap, right? You look and you see this chef and what they're charging and the clients that they've had and, the exposure and the acclaim that they've had. And, maybe you're looking at the years of experience or kind of recipes they're making. You're like, they're 15 years ahead of me. Who would hire me? Or my brand doesn't look like their brand, or man, I really want to be doing what they're doing. And you got your eyes on somebody else's plate, right? And so it's really hard to accomplish your goals when your eyes is on somebody else's goals, right? And they're out there doing what they need to do. And you don't know, they could be looking at somebody else and feeling the same, right? And here's the thing. The cliche is so true. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? Because you have your goals and you have what you're amazing at. And if your eyes are on somebody else's plate, okay, on somebody else's paper, okay, how are you moving forward? I love Olympic season, right? I love Olympic season, because when Olympic season comes around, we get all these clips and all these memes that literally show you what happens when you look at somebody else. My favorite is in track and field, right? When people are running, they're running their races and they're looking over at the competition versus focusing on the end goal, right? If you notice, the people who win those races, they never take their eyes off the goal, which is the end goal, right? They don't look over to the right or to the left to try to see what the person next to them is doing, because they know when they turn their head, that's actually going to break their momentum, okay? It's going to break their momentum, right? So comparison could also be getting in your way and keeping you from reaching your goals. Now, let me say this, and this one is like a double-headed spear, which is the fear of failure and the fear of success. And literally, you can have both at the same time. And I feel like people talk about this, but they don't talk about the fact that you can have them at the same time. So on one hand, you're terrified of failing. You don't want to be broke. You don't want to run out of money. You don't want to embarrass yourself, right? You don't want to put all this effort into something and it not work. You don't want to invest, your resources into something and it not turn out, do what you think it's going to do. So you're terrified of failing. You're terrified of making a wrong decision. You're terrified of making the wrong move, making the wrong turn, right? So you don't make a move because you're terrified. And then on the other hand, maybe sometimes you get all ramped up and you're like, I'm going to do it. But in reality, you don't do what you really could do, right? Because you are afraid of success. What if I lose my friends? What if I lose my family? What if people are going to start asking me for money? Am I still going to have people to talk to? Will I have to be working all the time? Will I not have a personal and a social life if I really give my all to this business, if I really put myself out there? Will I be lonely at the top, right? Will I have people who can relate to the lifestyle that I've built, right? Will I have people who have similar interests in me? Will I be lonely? Will I still be accepted when I'm no longer struggling or confused or overworked or exhausted or under earning, right? Because a lot of times we have formed connections with people out of unhealthy things, right? We have formed connections out of hustling. We've formed connections out of grinding. We've formed connections out of struggling. We've formed connections out of confusion. We've formed connection out of overwhelm, right? We've formed connection about being booked, busy, and burnt out, right? And so if I no longer fit in that category, am I going to lose the relationships that I have? If I can't relate to you in the area of struggling or not really knowing what to do in my business anymore, right? Then am I going to be alone? Okay. That is the fear of success, right? That it's going to be lonely at the top, that it'll just be you, that, you won't have quality of life. You won't have relationships. And here's the thing. All of this is false. It's false. Look at successful people all in any area. They have great relationships, right? Because they cultivate their relationships. That has nothing to do with whether or not they're successful, right? You don't have to be successful to have relationships. You can have great relationships and not be successful in business, right? So it doesn't have anything to do with the other. But the reality is, if you have a fear of making a mistake, entrepreneurship might be challenging because you're going to make mistakes in life, right? You have to know that in entrepreneurship, that's part of the journey, right? When you have coaching and mentorship, you minimize those mistakes, right? When you have a coach or a consultant or a strategist who's been ahead of you, right, and is walking you through a framework, you minimize your mistakes and you get to your goals faster, and they can call out that fear of success and that fear of failure, okay? Now, what else may be getting in your way is indecisiveness. You have 475,000 ideas. You've got 27 notebooks, okay? And you have to do all of them. You start some, it's fun. You think of the ideas. You think about how cool it's going to be. You think about the logos and the fonts and the graphics. And you think about like how much money this can make you and how cool this would be and the kind of clients you could get, right? And then you start it. And then then you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm going to go over here. Oh, this looks cool and interesting, right? So you're indecisive because, and indecisiveness really comes from, again, it comes from doubting yourself. It comes from doubting your ideas and saying, if I commit to this, what if it doesn't work? What if I really put my all into it and it doesn't work, right? That's where the indecisiveness comes from. There's also procrastination. Maybe you know what to do, for whatever reason you won't do it. Let me tell you, the thing that always cracks me up is when people were like, I know what to do. Yeah, but you haven't done it though. So do you know it in theory, or do you know it experientially, right? And so I'm always amazed when people are like, I don't need coaching, I don't need a course, I don't need a program, I don't need a consultant, I don't need a strategist. I know what to do, I just need to do it. Right, because you need accountability. Hello. Happy New Year. You need accountability. Okay. So also, you could be disorganized. And when you're disorganized, you're undisciplined, right? So your business is not organized. Nothing's documented. Everything's in your head. Everything you're doing by the fly of the seat of your pants. You have no standard operating procedures, right? You don't have any processes or systems in place. You're just winging it. You're just winging it. And yeah, you're making a little bit of money, but boy, is it. And maybe you need to hire somebody, even if it's part-time or a contractor, but it's such a mess behind the scenes, you're too embarrassed to bring somebody in. Okay, because it's in shambles, right? It's disorganized because you have been hustling and grinding and going by the seat of your pants versus really sitting down and saying, I need to be a serious business owner and get this business organized. Maybe you don't know how to organize it. Maybe you're still running your business out of a notebook and sticky notes and wondering why you can't scale, right? Can you imagine if, your doctor ran their practice off of sticky notes and a spiral notebook? You'd be like, I don't know if I want to be a part of that. Okay? Also, you're undisciplined. Ooh, because there's nobody waking you up in the morning. There's nobody forcing you to get it done. There's no external consequences. Maybe the consequences of being burnt out, being frustrated, not earning as much money as you would like, right? Not having the lifestyle that you want, not having the freedom that you want, right? Sacrificing actually having a life outside of your business. Those consequences are there, but maybe that's not enough to motivate you to be disciplined, right? And this goes back to, but you may not know what to be disciplined with, because all discipline is keeping a promise that you made to yourself. And if you don't know what promise you need to make to yourself because you don't know what to do, and the reason why you don't know what to do and you won't commit is because you're not sure if it's going to work. Like, do you see? All of this is getting in the way of your goals, right? Okay. And, it's like these are the things that I help my clients overcome in the chef's table. Yes, there's strategy. Yes, there's a framework. Yes, there's a step-by-step process. But all of this lack of confidence and this fear of failure and this fear of success and, this comparison trap that we get ourselves in and doubting our skills and abilities and indecisiveness and procrastination, we also need support with that as well, right? And so I really want to encourage you, because if you keep down this path, this is the quickest path to burnout. I hear people say, you know what, this is my last year. Like, if something doesn't shake this year, I'm going to quit. And it's like, it's not about time. It's about that you don't have these things together. You can't base it on time if you're not even doing the right things, right? It's like somebody saying, if this pasta doesn't cook in the next 10 minutes, I'm never making pasta again. And they didn't turn on the burner to the eye, so the water's not boiling. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that probably was a bad example, but I really want to show you that these are the things that are getting in the way. Lack of consistency, lack of clarity, lack of confidence, comparison, fear of failure, fear of success, indecisiveness, procrastination, trying to do things alone. Okay? That's the one. You don't get a prize for struggling your way to success. So, let me tell you, if you have been out here trying to figure it out alone, it's probably you getting in your own way, right? And then also, if you're somebody who Has it invested in your business? And when I'm talking about investing, I'm not talking about working capital, right? I'm not talking about the materials you need to actually do your job. I'm talking about investing in your business so that you actually know how to run a business, right? I'm always amazed when people are like, people won't pay me my prices, or I'm worried that people don't pay me my prices. And it's like, you won't even pay you your prices. You won't invest in yourself in that way, right? This is your dream. This is your baby. This is your business, right? Have you invested in it outside of the materials that it takes or the services that it takes to actually run the business? And sometimes some of y'all are being cheap on that. Cheap and high-end culinary brand do not go in the same sentence. So anyway, I just wanted to shake your shoulders a little bit. This video is already long enough to let you know these are some things that are probably getting in your way of you accomplishing what you want to accomplish in your business this year. And if you're like, Evelyn, you read me from head to toe, then you know it's time to apply for the Chef's Table Experience. Applications are currently open. They will be open till the end of this month, even though we're going to do like a preliminary call the last week of January. Listen, you can sit here and you can watch these videos all day long, right? And you'll glean little tips here and there, but until you know the framework, the process, until you get some coaching, some accountability, some community, some clarity, all right, then you're going to be spinning your wheels, and it's going to take you longer to get to your goals because you won't do what you need to do to get the help that you need. Okay, so go to chefevelyn.com/program, complete the questionnaire, book and pay for your strategy call. Listen, at the time of this recording, my strategy calls, the investment is $250. Like, isn't it worth $250 to figure out what you need to move forward? Like, it's just $250. Like, I'm always shocked at people who think that they're going to build their business and they're not willing to invest in knowing what's going on. It's kind of like if you're sick, but you don't want to go and pay the doctor. It's like if your car is broken down, but you don't want to go and pay the mechanic to find out what's wrong. It's like, then just admit that this is a really fun hobby for you. And that's totally okay. But if you're like, this is my business, this is my livelihood, this is my dream, this is your life. And if $250 deters you from figuring out what you want to do with your life from a career standpoint, figuring out what's getting in the way for you, earning the kind of money that you want for your life, living the kind of life that you want, having the kind of business that you want, then I don't want to work with you anyway. Like the women that I work with believe in investing in themselves because they know that they're worth it. They know that passion that they have, that desire that they have, they know that they're worth it. They know that, like, it's just money. So anyway, I don't know why I got into that. I normally am not that spicy. So for those of you that this has resonated with, I look forward to seeing your applications, and I look forward to our diagnostic strategy call. All the details on how to apply are down below. Go to chefevelyn.com/program. Click to apply, fill out the questionnaire. When prompted, pick a day and time that works best for your schedule. Select a time, pay for your call, and I look forward to talking to you soon.